Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of my video series, How to Make an Archetype for Your Card Game. In this video, we'll be talking about the control archetype. So, control archetypes would be an archetype that is more slower. Control is more defensive, slow, and their main thing that you're trying to do with them is drag out the game and waste opponents' resources. So, what you're going to do with them is they're going to have lots of things that can waste resources. You can do that in several ways. But probably the best way is to be able to either cancel stuff when they try and do it, discard cards from them, or when they try and play a card, make it be shuffled into their deck or instead, allowing them, slowing them down, and your archetype will have to work together, which will be difficult for control archetypes because control archetypes it just is a bit harder to make them actually be an archetype. But make sure that they are still an archetype, just like the aggro archetype. They need to be working together, flowing together, and making sure that it only works if they're working together. And then the basic the basic thing of control is that you're blocking your opponent's attack and damage and then beat them when they run out of resources. So there are several ways you can do that. You can come up with your own ideas, but here are just some basic ones. So have cards that maybe the more of the same archetype you have in play, these certain cards your opponent can't play. Like if you have 5 cards from this archetype, your opponent can't play, or they can't attack with certain creatures, or something like that. Maybe have it so that when your opponent plays a card, only once you can make it so that that card is discard instead and it can't be used. Or you can have you guys be like working with each other so that if you use their abilities together, you can make your opponent like be unable to play cards. But make sure that controls don't stop your opponent. Controls should not lock the game so that your opponent can't do anything, because that's just broken. You need to make sure that your opponent can still win. Controls are the best way to counter aggro decks, since they'll block your opponent's aggro, and since aggro is more focused on winning fast, control will stop that by slowing down the game, and aggro will lose since they will run out of resources pretty quickly since they're, aggro. So yeah, the main things you're going to want to do when making a control archetype is make sure you playtest it against aggro and against mid-range. It should, if it's an actual control deck, it should win against the aggro or do really almost win. Um, or it should win the majority of the time against aggro, but then mid-range should typically beat it or just kind of half the time beat it, but mid-range should probably be the thing that would counter control, since mid-range is just the best of both of them, control and aggro combined, but that'll be for the next video. So, when making a control deck, keep in mind, it blocks your opponent, it's slower and more defensive, and make sure the archetype still works together. And that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Next video will be about next video will be about OTK, one turn kill, and mid-range decks. And then thank you guys for 87 subscribers. If I get to 100 subscribers, I'll reveal these two set 2 cards for Stranded TCG's set 2. And yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.